Hello everyone, today we're looking at the topic of sharing using ratio, and in our previous video we looked at the introduction to ratio and proportion, where ratio was a way of comparing two or more amounts. So for example, in recipes or in exchange rates, or even just looking at different things and comparing how many of each there is. And proportion, or the proportion of how much of something there is, compares what you have in relation to the whole, in relation to everything that there is. Now today we're looking at this topic of sharing using ratio, and I'm going to start with this example of where you have £80 which we are going to share in the ratio of 7:3. Now the ratio of 7:3 means that for every 3 portions this person gets, or every 3 parts this person gets 7. So if you imagine drawing this, we have a ratio of 7:3. This person gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, whereas this person gets only 3 parts. Now, all those parts together make up the £80. Whenever I have a ratio, I always write the value of 7 and 3, but then I always write down the total above. The total of 7 and 3 makes 10 parts as a total. Now, we're saying that the £80 has to be split up into these 10 parts, which means that each of these represents 8, because we know this 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, and 8. We can see that these 10 8 values give us this value of 10 parts. Now, if I had a ratio of 70 and 30, I wouldn't want to draw out all these boxes. It'd be quite long-winded. So what we can say is if we look at the £80 and identify, is it associated to the 7, the 3, or the total? Well, the £80 is equivalent to how much we have in total. And we can see that if you want to go from £10 to £80, or 10 to £80, you multiply by 8. I've written it underneath the total, and this gives us our £80. That means, though, if I'm multiplying the total by 8, I've got to multiply these values by 8 as well. So if I multiply these values by 8 as well, I end up with £56 over here and £24 over here. And we can see that the 24 was the 3 eighths, the 56 was those 7 eighths. So this is the layout which I would recommend when you are working with ratios, to have your two values and then have the total on the other side. Now we're going to apply this to a couple of worded questions just to give us an understanding. And my first one over here is this, talks about orange squash. So orange squash is made with water and concentrate, and it's made in the ratio of 6:1. Now, when it tells you the ratio, you have to be consistent with the order which they're giving it. If they're saying the ratio is made of water, the waters come first, that's the 6, and the concentrate is second, so therefore that represents the 1. So we've got water there, and for 6, and the ratio for, or the amount of concentrate, which is 1. So I would actually write this down with this ratio below. So I would say water as W and concentrate is C in the ratio of 6:1. Now that means in total, if you've got 6 parts of water and 1 part of concentrate, the total gives us 7 parts. Now, we have to be very careful when it comes to reading this question, because it says below there is 30 ml of concentrate. Now 30 ml of concentrate refers to the blue value. It means there's 30 ml of concentrate. And it says how much squash can be weighed. Well, squash is the combination of water and concentrate, so that's the total value. So we have to look at how we get from 1 to 30. Well, we know if one of these portions is worth 30, we're multiplying here by 30. But if I multiply the concentrate by 30, to keep the ratio consistent, I have to multiply this by 30 and this by 30 as well. What that gives me at the end is 180 ml of water and 210 mil of in total, and that is our answer. That's the amount of squash that we wanted. So just looking at this, we wrote down our ratio, we added in a column for the total, and then we looked at where this value went in our ratio. Did it go under water, under concentrate, or under total? And then we multiplied accordingly. So we're going to get one other example along these lines, just to give us a key area of understanding, or be confident with this. And it is over here. It says we've got brown paint. Now, brown paint is made up of red paint, blue paint, and yellow paint in the ratio of 3 to 4 to 2. And it says if there is 120 mil of red paint, so let's write down our ratio. So we've got ratio of red to blue and yellow. So we've got red to blue to yellow, because it goes red, then blue, then yellow, and in the ratio of 3 to 4 to 2. So this ratio here is 3 to 4 to 2. Now that means in total, once again, you have a column for total. We've got 3 parts that are red, 4 parts that are blue, 2 parts that are yellow. That makes a total of 9 portions. So 9 portions. Now the next line tells us there is 120 mil of red paint. So because that is 120 mil of red paint, it goes under the red section, just like that. And it then says how much blue paint and how much yellow paint is required. Well, we need to look at our ratio. To get from 3 to 120, I need to multiply all my values by 40. So I have to times these values by 40. That gives me 160 and 80, multiplying all of these by 40. Now, if the question, or our next part of the question, says how much brown paint can be made. Well, brown paint is very simply just the combination of all of these added together, which is 120 plus 160 plus 80, which is the same as 360. I could also simply just multiply the total by 40, and that gives me my value of 360 mil. And effectively that's it. That's all you have to do in these scenarios, is write down your ratio and then line up the values in the right columns and multiply along. Anyway, I hope that's made sense. If it hasn't, please leave a comment below or message me directly. Thank you very much for watching. Take care and goodbye.